Hello and welcome. We have with us Commander Dilip Donde, who is the first Indian to have circumnavigated the globe in a sailboat. Could you just share your experience of how was it to circumnavigate the globe? It's quite a unique feat that you have managed.
Okay, it was a big project, so I can't really tell you everything because the project ran for almost 4 or 5 years. Essentially, what we did was we built a boat in India, in Goa, and then I sailed her around the world and stopping at 4 places. After that, we took part in a race from Cape Town to Rio, and now we are my colleague Abhilash Tomy, who used to help me out during my trip, and he was learning on the job. So now he's undertaking something far more difficult than what I had done. He's going to take the boat around the world without stopping anywhere.
Right. Before we go to Abhilash, could you just tell us about ocean sailing? Because ocean sailing, as a non-competitive expedition that you had undertaken, it takes a lot of qualities from sports as well. So please describe to us in details as to how you prepared and went about your expedition in that was in 2009.
Well, I wouldn't call it non-competitive because there is a saying that when there are two boats, there is a race. So you have a boat similar to her and you can start having a race around. We built the boat in Goa. We built her at Diwar Island and Aquarius, Ratnakar Dandekar of Aquarius Fiberglass built us this absolutely fabulous boat. Uh, we, she's a very strong boat. We learned how to sail her because each boat has her own peculiarities. So from the time we floated her, we started sailing her, we started learning on her, and even now we keep learning things from the boat. So we kept learning, and as we kept learning, we took a few trial sorties. I made a trial trip to Mauritius, and after that, I undertook my voyage. It is interesting that we didn't have anybody to teach us exactly how to do things because we're doing it for the first time in the country. We didn't have anybody to teach, and there was nobody to teach boat building to Ratnakar, and there was nobody to teach me how to sail her. So we were always into uncharted waters. We were traveling into the unknown. But we managed to do a good job. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have been sitting here. I would have been dead long back. Uh, so now we're building upon that experience and hoping that more people will get into it. And like I said, if there are two boats, there is a race. So who knows? I mean, a couple of years down the line, you have another boat like this, and we can have round the world races from India. Yeah.
So how did you go about your trip? I mean, did you have first stage, second stage, and then overall while sailing, what are the hardships or challenges that you
See, like
faced?
I said,
Could you break them down?
initially we started sailing her for shorter distances. When we built her, we used to take her out for trials, and every trial used to be a trial for the boat. Every sail used to be a trial for the boat, and a training trip for me. So we are learning, and then slowly we did a few trips off Goa. Then we took her to Bombay, got her back. We took her. By then, Abhilash had joined me, so two of us sailed her to Colombo. This was the first time such a short crew was sailing any Indian boat. Then we came back from Colombo. Then we went for a longer trip to Mauritius, two of us. I dropped him in Mauritius, and I came back sailing alone. So that was my first solo sailing experience. But
It was assisted expedition.
uh, no, it was unassisted because once I left the port, then there was nobody helping me out. So, but that was the first time any Indian boat had sailed solo for such a long distance. Then I came back to Goa again. We found that there are some improvements that needed to be done in the boat. We did those things and got her ready, and I started sailing on 19th August 2009.
How many days did it take to complete this expedition?
I was at sea for 157 days. So that's the exact time I actually sailed. If you count the number of stops in between and the duration I was in ports, The entire duration was exactly 9 months. I left on 19th August and I came back on 19th May.
And did you sail all the time? I mean, you have to sail all the time. So were you all the time maneuvering it, or you had to cook your own food and do all of the chores?
Yeah, when you're alone on the boat, you obviously have to do everything yourself. There is nobody else to help you, and sometimes you may be about 2-3,000 miles from the nearest land. So you are in your own little world where everything you have to do yourself. If you fall sick, you have to cure yourself. If the boat develops some problems, you have to repair her. And yes, you have to cook yourself. You have to do the dishes. I was writing a blog from sea, and you do the maintenance. You do the repairs. Uh,
So how did it go? Was it all smooth sailing? Can you tell us any moments?
no, it definitely wasn't smooth sailing. It was a lot of effort, and there were good days and there were bad days. There were very good days when it was wonderful, good breeze, cool breeze, and the boat is sailing perfectly, flat seas. And there were some really scary days when I was wondering what I was doing and why did I get into this in the first place. I shouldn't have been here, and I never want to do this again. But that is part of life, and it happens in life too. You got good days and you got bad days, so it's like that.
Okay, overall, this expedition is through Indian Navy, and how does Navy what do you say, promote it? What do they want to come out of such expeditions?
See, you should not look at it as a naval expedition. It's a national expedition because so far no Indian has done something like this. So the Navy has taken the lead in promoting this activity because after all the sea is our backyard. This is our domain. The sea is the Navy's domain. So it is only natural that the Navy takes the lead in doing this for the nation, and that's what we are doing. So the nation definitely benefits from it in a sense. You make a statement that look, we are arrived, we are as good or better than anybody else in the world. So that's the statement you are making as a nation.
Okay. Thank you very much for talking to us, and all the best to you in your upcoming expeditions. I now have with me the man of the moment, Lieutenant Commander Abhilash Tomy, who will be circumnavigating the globe unassisted, solo, and non-stop. Abhilash, such a huge task awaits you. What made you to undertake this task?
It was in 1999, and I was a cadet in this base, INS Mandavi. At that time, the Naval Academy was housed here. I read a magazine in which they spoke about a race around the world alone. The crew was single, a boat had just one person on them. And it kind of fired my imagination. I thought when I get a chance, I should do something similar. So in 2009, exactly 10 years later, when Commander Donde was about to embark on his voyage, he was looking for volunteers. And I quickly put my hand up and said, yes, I will volunteer this man. Be a volunteer to help him out with his project. Somewhere along the project, Admiral Avati, who's been a mentor for this project, asked me if I could do a solo non-stop. And I put my hand up again and said yes. And that's how it all began.
Okay. What is the experience that you find valuable after assisting Commander Dhonde in the last expedition? What experience would particularly be of help to you in now your expedition?
There is one particular quality that I admire a lot in him, and that is he's always calm. And things could be going wrong all around him, but he just maintains his cool. And I think you need a very balanced mind to make the right decisions because when you're alone and at sea, one wrong decision can lead to a series of accidents. If you don't have a calm mind, you'll not be able to arrest this series at the right moment.
So overall, what's your philosophy about ocean sailing? What makes ocean sailing? What are the attributes that one need to be a very good sailor?
If you're an ocean sailor, it's not just about sailing. I've been a racing sailor for about 2-3 years. You take out your dinghy and race for about 20 minutes, or 1 or 2 hours and come back. But if you're an ocean sailor, you have to recall every skill that you ever had in your entire life and put it to use. You need to be a good communicator because you need to tell the world what you're doing. You need to be a good navigator. That comes from being a good yachtsman. You need to know the weather like the back of your hand. You need to be able to predict weather for 10-15 days in advance. in addition to all this, you need to be a good cook because you need to feed yourself. That actually, that minor detail was the biggest impediment for my voyage because I just didn't know even how to light a gas stove. Okay, so that's something I had to learn just to do this voyage. You need to repair your engine. You need to know how to operate them carefully so that you don't damage them. You need to know needlework so that you can stitch your sails when they tear. You need to know the job of an electrician. You need to know just about everything in the world. And when everything is going around, you need to maintain going wrong around you. You need to maintain your calm.
It's a lot of qualities that one need. All right. Now, coming to this expedition, tell me how have you prepared yourself for this expedition? What have you done so far, to have had a kind of net practice for the upcoming challenge?
Since 2009, I was with Commander Donde. So I've been helping him prepare this boat for his voyages. So I've prepared the boat in Goa, Mauritius, Colombo, Bombay, Australia, New Zealand, Falklands, Cape Town, and again in Bombay. So I've worked with this boat for a long period.